Okay, wow. That 6/4 section right there, that is what happens when you put metal accompaniment to the third movement of the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much for your amazing show of support in my first Ultrakill video. Now here's some more, because you asked nicely. This is called Tenebre Rosso Sangue. Interesting title. Let's see how it sounds. Okay, wow! It started very much like a tribute to Baroque Gothic music like Toccata and Fugue by Bach. Definitely going into Castlevania vibes, very bloody tears. And then just hard transitioning to boom, intense metal. Let's go. Okay, for that section, that whole initial section at least, that was pretty much a classical Baroque fugue disguising as a metalcore song. Yes, it is very intense, lots of double kicks, very intense drumming, very in-your-face overdrive guitars in the mix. But don't let that distract you from the fact that the harmony, the melody, the complicated interlocking counterpoints of the pipe organ part, that is pretty much a full-on Baroque fugue piece. It is beautiful, and I love this combined genre. Let's listen to more. Okay. I'm getting overwhelmed because of the intensity and how epic it is. But wow, very smart writing going back to the initial motif of the pipe organ, of the initial fugue, going back to it, but this time with metal accompaniment. And now we're transitioning to a drum fill of triplets. And it is now very, I don't know, power metal. It's now power metal. I mean, it was already power metal, but oh my God, it's so good. Okay, wow. That 6/4 section right there, that is what happens when you put metal accompaniment to the third movement of the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. That is pretty much the vibe I'm getting here. You know, if you've heard of the third movement of Moonlight Sonata, you know, the fast one, not the melancholic one. You know what I'm saying. And this is pretty much that vibe they're going on. So it's like they merge the sensibilities of Bach and then Beethoven and just slap on metal. It's amazing. Whoa! Wow, okay. New section hype. But before we continue listening, oh my god, that previous section, that was actually giving me a little bit of Black Mages vibe. You know, the band of Final Fantasy composer Nobuo Uematsu. He formed a progressive rock band named the Black Mages, and they perform live. And that section right there, that is very similar sounding to their version, their live version of the fourth movement of Dancing Man. Yes, they have a live version of Dancing Mad, and this is giving me that vibe. It's beautiful, it's very fugal, Baroque fugue, but with metal, and wow. Yeah, give me more. Oh my god. This is... I now understand why you requested this to me. Oh my god. That guitar interlude right there sounded very cybernetic metal, very Doom-like. Very Doom 3, Doom 2 maybe, or even the original 16-bit Doom soundtrack. Yeah. The way he ended it, the cadences, the chords, and even the pedal tones, the whole bigger picture of how he ended it is very similar to how Bach ended his Toccata in Fugue in D minor. And this is obviously a very smart composer, very intelligent, classical style composer, well versed in many styles. That is one of my favorite types of composers, using all of their musical sensibilities and combining that to make their own unique sound. Yeah, this is genius. I love it. Yes. Damn. Super intense to the 100th level. But like I said in the previous Ultrakill reaction video, it's a huge block of intensity, but there is still a sprinkling of beauty portrayed by those classical notes, by the fugue part itself. It's a great combination. There's pretty much Beauty and the Beast. There's brawn, there's muscle, but there's also intelligent beauty combined in one powerful song. That's what this song is. Wow. This one's called Pandemonium. One of you suggested that this is a three-parter song, so I put these three songs together based on that. Okay, I love the irregular use of meter. It really gives off that chaotic feel, very unstable feeling. But again, this is another powerful arrangement, but I think it's going for that atmospheric. I can hear some choral drones in the background with these very, very lively drums. Yes, this song is very chromatic. Lots of chromatic cadences, lots of chromatic notes, meaning if you're playing the piano, you're playing every single note in the scale, not skipping anything. You're playing both the black and the white keys. That is a chromatic scale. And when that is used in a composition such as this, it usually gives an atmosphere of unease, something that is unstable, because a chromatic scale in musical terms, it is very much a type of scale that has no center. For example, a major scale, a C major scale, is obviously centered on C or Do. So it has a home key and it has a alternate keys, but they always make it sound, a C major scale or any regular major scale, they always sound that they always want to go back to the home key. That is how the basic harmonic relationships are. But when it comes to a chromatic scale, and this song is using a lot of it, a chromatic scale can sound unstable because you're playing all the notes in between and nothing skipped. And that is like if you're going to talk about with a symbolism or in the analogy of colors, in the color wheel, every single gradient of the color is included. And if everything is included in between, there's like, where's the center of this? Where does it stop? It keeps just going and going. So that is why, the Jaws theme by the John Williams, that is one of the most famous chromatic melodies. Dun, 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 dun. It's very creepy sounding, very scary sounding, very unstable. And this piece, it is going more for energy and atmosphere rather than melody. And the use of the chromatic lines very much supports that. Okay, that passage right there uses another trope of, I would say, horror film scoring or horror music writing in the general sense, where it's using a lot of the tritone interval, where in some areas of music, people would call it the devil's interval or the devil's tone because of how it used to be associated with the sound of evil in ancient music. wow, that ending. Some sort of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey kind of sound. Okay, so first off the top of my head, the type of sounds that I hear are, of course, the powerful drums, lots of very rough sounding overdrive synth patches, maybe like a sawtooth wave somewhere over there. But I also hear a lot of glitch-like sound quality, and that's definitely by intention. This is very obviously a battle music, like war music or something like that. Speaking of war, we're getting to that next. But yeah, this is, for the lack of a better word, intense stuff. And wow. And again, like what I mentioned in the first Ultrakill video, here's another example of ultimate repetition of elements. It becomes intentionally repetitive, and you hear it over and over and over again, that you lose some of the details. That drum pattern, it's the same drum pattern over and over again, mostly, and you keep hearing that, and eventually the small details disappear. It becomes white noise, and instead, you're eventually just left with the emotional impact of the song. You're no longer hearing drums. You're no longer hearing the tiny details of each rhythm, because it's all repeating. There's nothing else to digest. Your brain just shuts off the little patterns, and eventually it melds into one mass of sound, and you're just left with the emotional impact of the song. And that's the beauty of a song that's something like this. By the way, I'm always on the lookout for very cool video game music to react to. So if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments or use the content suggestion form in my video description. And for our last song for this video, this is War. Okay, first off, I love the constant dissonances with all those humming and ringing guitar tones and with the sinister sounding violin lines. Oh my God, I love that. And when the snare drum came in, it definitely started to sound more like a march to battle. Very much a war song. Okay, wow. Here's another example of a classical piece disguised as a metalcore song. Those harmonies very much fit any melancholic choral piece from the time of, I would say, Mozart, Beethoven. It sounds very much like the melancholic harmonies of a funeral hymn or funeral march. And very, very, very appropriate because, you know, in war, there's just so many casualties. So you might as well be like, you know, preparing for your funerals. Okay, that entire chunk, that entire section chunk right there. Again, another great example of repeating drums, repeating percussion, eventually disappearing into white noise. But the harmony and the long sounding melodies, this is actually very much reminiscent of Barber's Adagio for strings. It was used in the movie Platoon back in the day. But yes, that is one of the more iconic, melancholic types of chamber music, and it is very much one of the iconic sad songs for classical music. There's a reason why it's usually used for sad moments, especially in war films or in scenes where you know that the characters are gonna lose. They're walking into a trap. They know they're gonna lose, but they accept their fate. So that's the kind of use for Adagio for strings. And this whole section chunk here, it's very much reminiscent of that piece. And I love it. Okay, I love that section. It gives off the same grandiose feeling as the Ode to Joy, Beethoven's Ode to Joy, in the same sense of that lilting feeling. For a few moments, the music sounded like there's hope. There's hope for you to win, or there's hope for you to persevere. With the first two chords, very happy sounding, very major chord. But at the third chord, he went down a chromatic scale and suddenly it sounded sinister again. It was like the music was giving you a false sense of hope and then takes it away immediately. Okay, now this section, giving me another iconic sad boy classical piece, Chopin's Prelude in E minor. Lots of iconic sad classical pieces. And you know, this harmony, this use of harmony where the progression is constantly going down with lots of minor chords descending and descending. It's used in a similar way here, but you know, it's metal. Yeah, this section right here, it's like building up a little bit to something that sounds like a climax. So this sounds like one final push. Let's give it all we got. One final push at a almost futile attempt for victory. But, you know, they got to do it. Oh, wow. I just realized those low-sounding dissonant guitar tones, because of the conflicting frequencies and low tones, it kind of sounded like humming monks. Like, but like they're all dissonant and out of tune with each other, resulting in this some sort of sinister sounding humming quality. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. Wow! That was an epic track, and say it with me, intense. Super intense. I don't think I will stop calling Ultrakill music intense because it's just intense. No matter how many times I say the word intense during my Ultrakill reaction videos, that's just the truth. Amazing track. And that's it for today. Do you want more Ultrakill reaction videos? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more of my content, click here.